You owe us for everything we ever did for you, my mom said, handing me what looked like a bill, except it was for my entire childhood. I couldn't help but laugh. I shook my head and walked away. Later that night, my phone wouldn't stop lighting up. She called more than 30 times. I was in the middle of packing up the last of my things when I heard a knock at the door, not a gentle tap, but a hard, deliberate knock. That kind of knock that tells you something dramatic is about to go down. Come in, I called out without even looking up, still busy sealing up the cardboard box in front of me. She stepped inside, holding a thick envelope like it was some kind of official document. Before you go, she said, her tone dripping with that fake sweetness I'd heard 100 times before, we need to settle something. I let out a tired sigh. Mom, if this is another one of your guilt trips. But she cut me off with a raised hand and handed me the envelope. This isn't a guilt trip, she said flatly. This is what you owe us. I frowned and tore it open. Inside was a stack of stapled papers, organized and itemized down to the penny. Diapers, $3,425.17. Formula, $2,198.35. Clothes from toddler to teenager, $9,742.12. School supplies, $5,601.55. Groceries, $28,394. Then came the kicker, my supposed share of rent, adjusted for inflation, $42,300. And the list just kept going. Line after line. Page after page. At the bottom, bolded like a final punchline, was the grand total, $132,482.67. I stared at it. Then at her. You've gotta be kidding me. She crossed her arms like this was a normal conversation. We spent that money raising you, she said. It's only fair you pay us back. Kids aren't cheap, you know. I let out a short, sharp laugh. Mom, this is completely nuts. She didn't even blink. You wouldn't be where you are today without us. And now you want to thank you in the form of a check? I waved the ridiculous stack of papers in her face. You really think I owe you for the act of being born? You can't just walk away from your responsibilities, she snapped. Your father and I gave up everything for you. And that means I'm supposed to write you a check now? You want payment for parenting? Yes, she said, completely serious. That was the breaking point. I dropped the papers on the bed, grabbed my duffel bag, and swung it over my shoulder. You've lost it, I said. I'm done. I'm out of here. As I walked out the front door, her voice followed me down the steps. You think you can just leave? You owe us. You owe us for everything. I laughed as I opened the car door. Good luck trying to collect, I shot back without looking. At the time, I brushed it off as just another one of her twisted control games. One more empty threat in a long list of them. But I was wrong. That night was when the real chaos started. The first call came around 8 p.m. I saw her name pop up on the screen and ignored it. Then another. And another. By the time the fifth call came in under 10 minutes, I switched my phone to silent and tossed it on the nightstand. When I finally went to bed, she had called over 30 times. At first, I figured she'd burn out eventually. She'd pulled this kind of stunt before, long, angry voicemails. Emotional manipulation. Over-the-top threats about how I'd regret treating her like this. The same song and dance she always did. But this time felt different. The voicemails started flooding in, one after another, like they were on some kind of mission. The first few? Pretty predictable. I don't know what's gotten into you, but you need to come back and talk to us like an adult. We're your parents. We raised you. You can't just walk away. You've got responsibilities, young man. You can't run from them forever. Then their tone changed, got sharper, meaner. You ungrateful little brat. Do you even understand what we gave up for you? And now you think you're better than us? That's rich. We'll see how long you make it without your family. By midnight, my mom's voice cracked into sobs. I can't believe you're doing this to me. To us. After all we've done for you. How do you even sleep at night? You've broken your mother's heart. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, the threats started rolling in. 1:14 a.m. You really think you can just cut us off? That there won't be consequences? 1:47 a.m. You'll regret this. I swear to God, you will regret this. 2:30 a.m. Fine. If you won't do what's right, we'll make you. That last one? It stopped me cold. I sat straight up in bed, heart thudding against my ribs, staring at my screen like it might bite me. Make me? What the hell was that supposed to mean? Then, like some sick cosmic joke, my dad's name lit up on my screen. I hesitated, just for a second, then answered. What? I said, flat, no emotion. There was silence on the line. Then his voice came through low, ice cold. You better start taking this seriously, son. I clenched my jaw. Or what? Or you're gonna wish you had. Click. Dead air. I just sat there in the dark, phone in hand, stomach knotted tight. That wasn't just anger. That was something else entirely. They were planning something. And I had no idea what the hell was coming next. Next morning, I woke up groggy as hell, still clutching my phone like it might protect me. Their calls had finally stopped around 3 a.m., but I had this heavy feeling in my chest that wouldn't budge. I'd seen my parents play dirty before, stonewalling, guilt trips, dragging aunts and uncles into drama. But this? This was a whole different animal. The threats, the sheer intensity? That was new. Still, I tried to brush it off. Told myself they were just having a meltdown. I had no clue how deep this was about to go. Around noon, I got an email from my bank. Important alert, unusual activity on your credit report. My gut sank. I clicked the alert, and what I saw nearly made my eyes pop out of my skull. New loan $25,000 approved yesterday. Credit card application denied due to excessive recent inquiries. New account opened in your name. I scrolled further. 5 credit applications. 5. All filed in the last 24 hours. I jumped on the phone with the fraud department. After what felt like forever on hold, someone finally answered. Yes, I see multiple new lines of credit applied for in your name, she said calmly. One of them's been approved. Who applied? I asked, though I already knew. She hesitated. The applications were submitted using matching personal details from a known account. Your parents' joint bank account. My jaw tightened. So, my parents committed fraud? Another pause. Sir, I can't legally say that without an investigation, but you should file a report. I could barely breathe. My own parents had stolen my identity. I hung up and immediately checked my credit score. It had tanked, nearly 200 points gone overnight. The weight of it all hit me like a freight train. This wasn't just a hassle. This could destroy my future. Renting a place, buying a car, even passing a background check for work, it could all fall apart. And just when I thought the day couldn't get worse, 2 p.m. hit. Email from my manager, urgent, please see me ASAP. My pulse shot up. That had never happened before. I bolted to his office. The second I walked in, I could tell something was seriously wrong. He looked nothing like his usual laid-back self, serious face, fingers laced together, eyes locked on mine. Close the door, he said. I sat down. What's going on? He sighed and turned his monitor toward me. On the screen was an anonymous complaint, long, detailed, brutal. Accusations that I'd been stealing company resources. Claims of inappropriate behavior. Even a line saying I lied on my resume. It was scarily specific. Like whoever wrote it really did their homework. Look, my boss said, rubbing his temples, I don't believe this nonsense. But HR has to take it seriously. So I've got to ask, any idea who might be trying to sabotage you? I swallowed hard. Oh, I had a damn good idea. I kept my voice steady. Yeah, I said. I do. It was them. My parents. They weren't just angry, they were out to destroy me. And if they thought I was gonna lie down and take it, they were in for one hell of a surprise. I left work running on pure adrenaline. My credit was shot, my job was suddenly on thin ice, and the people behind it were the two who were supposed to protect me. They wanted to tear my life apart. But I wasn't gonna let that happen. I got home, locked my door, and sat down at my desk. If they wanted war, they were damn sure about to get one. First thing I did was pull up old bank statements. Years ago, I'd had a joint account with them, something they talked me into just in case of emergencies. Back then, I didn't think twice about it. But now I knew better. I logged in and started digging through the transaction history. And then I saw it. Withdrawals, huge ones. Money I never spent, disappearing from my name straight into theirs. Some of it had been recent. But the worst part? It went back years. They'd been draining me dry behind my back for a long, long time. And just when I thought it couldn't get any uglier, I checked my credit report again and started going through it line by line. That's when something else caught my eye: 2 older loans, buried in the mix, that I hadn't noticed before. Not just the recent $25,000 one. There was a $5,000 loan and another for $8,500. Both from years back. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a one-time thing. This had been going on for a while. They'd been pulling money out under my name for years, probably banking on the idea that I'd never dig into my own records. I felt that cold rush sweep over me again. This wasn't just fraud. This was calculated theft. Long-term and deliberate. I needed to know the full scope, no more guessing. So I rolled up my sleeves and did what I should have done a long time ago. I started searching public records, digging through anything that had my name tied to it. And that's when I found the part that hit the hardest. My own parents had been filing taxes using my name. Not just once. For years. They'd been claiming me as a dependent long after I was living on my own and supporting myself. And it got worse. Turns out they'd opened a credit card using my social security number back when I was still in college. Over $12,000 in debt. Never paid. Just left it to rot. I leaned back, heart racing, staring at the mess they made. They'd shattered my credit, stolen my identity, and bled my accounts dry. And after all that, they still had the nerve to call me selfish? They'd used me like a bank account with a heartbeat. And now they were mad I'd shut it down. I clenched my jaw, picked up my phone, and scrolled to my mom's number. Time to stop playing nice. She picked up instantly. Oh, so now you're finally calling us back? That fake sweetness in her voice was so thick I could taste it. I stayed calm. Just wanted to say thanks. She hesitated. Thanks? Yeah. For leaving such a nice, obvious paper trail. Silence. Then she laughed, but it was shaky. What are you talking about? I didn't hold back. The loans you took out in my name. The credit card under my social. The tax filings. Even the money you funneled from our joint account. You and Dad left your fingerprints all over it. No response, just breathing, fast and shallow. You don't know what you're talking about, she snapped. But I smiled. I do. I've got the documents. Credit reports. Loan statements. Screenshots of flagged transactions. All of it. And I'm done playing dumb. The silence stretched out until she finally hissed, "You ungrateful little." Click. I hung up. The calls came rolling in a few minutes later: Dad, Mom again, then my sister. I ignored them. Instead, I sent a single group text. I'll be filing a fraud report tomorrow. Contact me again and I'll include every voicemail and text you send. Enjoy your evening. Then I blocked them all. My phone went still. And for the first time in years, it felt like peace. But I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. I barely slept that night, too wired from everything. I kept refreshing the docs on my laptop like the evidence might disappear. It didn't. My phone stayed blissfully silent. No guilt. No second thoughts. By morning, I was at the bank. The fraud department already had alerts on my account, and when I sat down with the rep, she didn't waste time. I laid out everything: loan documents, statements, even the public tax records. Her face hardened as she flipped through the papers. "This is serious," she said. "You need to report this to the authorities." "I'm on my way next," I told her. At the police station, I sat across from an officer and went through it all again: names, dates, dollar amounts. I handed him every shred of proof I had. "This isn't just identity theft," he said. "This is fraud, tax evasion, possibly even wire fraud depending on how they accessed your accounts." Hearing it from him made it all real. It wasn't just a family betrayal anymore. This was criminal. "So what happens now?" I asked. "We'll start a formal investigation," he said. "If they've done it this long, odds are they've done it to someone else too." I nodded, absorbing it all. They thought they could control me forever, keep me in check with guilt and fear. But now? They were the ones looking over their shoulders. As I stepped out of the station, my phone buzzed. New number. I picked up. You're making a huge mistake, my father growled. I took a slow breath. No, Dad, you did. Then I hung up. They never thought I'd fight back. But now? I was fighting like hell. And I wasn't done yet. Want to keep going from here? Ready for the next wave of consequences? That's when the investigator called back with an update, and this time, there was a hint of disbelief in his voice. They'd already tracked my parents' bank transactions and flagged multiple instances where my identity had been used without permission. This is bad for them, he said, almost like he felt sorry. Really bad. I nodded, even though he couldn't see me through the phone. Good. Not even 2 minutes later, my email pinged. New message. Subject line, we need to talk. My mother. I didn't open it. I just grinned, marked it as spam, and moved on with my day. But the emails kept rolling in different subject lines, same desperate tone. We can fix this. You don't understand what you're doing. You're ruining our lives. I didn't reply to a single one. By the next morning, they started dragging in the extended family. First it was my aunt. Then a cousin. Even an old family friend I hadn't heard from in over a decade. Every message had the same tired script, they're your parents. You should forgive them. Yeah, I ignored those two. Then came the real twist. Later that afternoon, the investigator called again, and this time, he sounded almost amused. Your parents finally got back to us, he said. I sat up straighter. And? Well, he chuckled, they're claiming you gave them permission. That you knew about the accounts and the loans. I actually laughed. Like, full out laughed. You're serious? As a heart attack, he said. But the thing is, the forged documents don't hold up under inspection. We've confirmed multiple fake signatures already. So what now? I asked. He didn't even hesitate. It's moving to the next stage. Formal charges are likely coming. I let out a long breath, running a hand through my hair. It was really happening. They were finally about to face real consequences. But even then, I knew this wasn't the end. My parents weren't the kind of people to go down quietly. I figured things would settle down once it got serious, once they realized the gig was up. I was wrong. If anything, the pressure made them even more unhinged. By the end of that week, I had over a dozen messages from various family members, some begging, others flat out accusing me of tearing the family apart. This is too far. They're your parents, for God's sake. So what if they borrowed a little? You're sending them to jail? I hope you're happy. You've humiliated them. I read everyone with the same blank expression and deleted them without replying. Not a single one of these people had my back when I was getting drained dry. But now that the thieves were finally being held accountable? Now they were all family first? The irony was almost laughable. Then Friday hit, and that's when it got worse. I checked my credit report again, just to be sure. And there it was, another loan application. Brand new. Filed just 2 days ago. A wave of cold fury hit me like a truck. They were already caught. They knew they were being investigated. And they were still trying to steal from me? I called the fraud investigator immediately. They're still at it, I said the second he picked up. He paused. Then sighed. Not surprising. People like this don't stop until they're forced to. I clenched my jaw. So how much longer until that happens? Not long, he said. With everything we've got, we're moving forward. Your parents will be receiving a court summons soon. I let those words sink in. So they're actually being charged? Yup, he said. And with how deep this goes, we're talking more than just fines. This could mean real jail time. I swallowed hard. I should have felt something. Guilt, hesitation, something. But I didn't. Not after what they did. Not after all the lies, the stolen money, the manipulation. For once in their lives, they were about to feel the weight of their actions. And I wasn't about to stop it. A week later, the court summons hit their mailbox. I didn't need anyone to tell me, it was obvious. My phone exploded. Unfamiliar numbers. Calls. Texts. All of it. I ignored every single one. Then came the meltdown. First, a voicemail from my mom. Her voice was shaky. How could you do this to us? To your own family? You're going too far. Just drop the charges. We can fix this. Then my dad. You think you're so smart? You think you've won? Let me tell you something, you ungrateful little, this isn't over. You'll regret this. I listened to that one in full. Then calmly deleted it. Because I knew the truth now, something they never thought I'd figure out. They had nothing left to threaten me with. For years, guilt and fear were their weapons. But now? They were the ones panicking. And I still wasn't done. I anonymously tipped off the IRS about their tax fraud. Sent over key documents. Forwarded evidence to a few of my dad's business partners. Even reached out to some distant relatives who had lent them money, just so they'd know exactly what kind of people they were dealing with. By the time I was through, it wasn't just legal trouble they were drowning in. They were socially and financially finished. Friends turned their backs. Family stopped answering their calls. Even the ones who'd been defending them wanted their money back now. And me? For the first time in forever, I was free. I checked my credit report one last time. The fraud claims had gone through. The fake loans? Wiped. My score? Finally on the mend. Then my phone buzzed with one final message from an unknown number. I hope you're happy. I smirked, blocked it, and closed my laptop. Yeah. I really, truly was.